Hello everyone and welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're all good and well. So you might remember about this time last year I did a video talking about 5 indie films that I'd recommend watching. Those were also 5 of my all-time favourites as well, as it happens. And I thought, you know what, I enjoyed doing that video so much, partly because I love independent films, but also it was a list which wasn't genre specific, so it gave me an opportunity to branch out in terms of the films that I was talking about a bit more. I thought, you know what, let's do that again and let's talk about 5 more indie films that I'd highly recommend watching if you get the opportunity. I'm going to kick off quite quickly here with my first pick, which is a film called Aftersun, which was the feature directorial debut for director Charlotte Wells. I saw this at the BFI Film Festival late last year, and really enjoyed it. It stars Paul Mescal and Frankie Corio as its leads, as the main characters. And this is a father and daughter, and they are the film follows them whilst they're on holiday at a Turkish resort in the 1990s. And for me, I love this film because it captures both a sense of 90s nostalgia, but does it in a way which that doesn't overtake the film and the more serious elements of the film, and it deals with the emotional development between father and daughter incredibly well and incredibly sensitively. So that also comes across. So despite a lot of the nostalgic elements in this film, they're used actually to serve, I think, the the spirit of the times of that film incredibly well. Right, I felt like I was on holiday with this father and daughter, actually on holiday during the 1990s. The film actually got that sense of nostalgia perfect. And I really enjoyed that about the film. But I think the film was also as much about getting you emotionally invested in this father and daughter and caring about them, and hoping that things turn out all right for them and whatever troubles they're having. And I think that this is just a beautiful film. I love the kind of warm, hazy glow of the filming style throughout the entire thing. Cannot highly recommend Aftersun enough. It's a wonderful film, and you'll be hard not to feel a bit emotionally invested in it, certainly by the final scenes of this movie as well. Great film, Aftersun, that's my first pick. Next up, we're going to a film called Metalhead, which is an Icelandic film directed by Ragnar Bragason, back from 2013, so this one's a little bit older. But this is the perfect film for you, actually, if you are a metalhead, I think, or you like coming of age type films. I mean, Aftersun was a bit of a coming of age film. This is also very much that sort of a film, as it follows a young girl who has lost her brother in this tragic accident on a farm, and after his funeral, she's curious about his life, and wants to relive his memory a bit by getting into metal, right? Getting into heavy metal and all things heavy metal. And the film is both, I think, a wonderful tribute to the genre of metal, as well as it is, again, a film which gets you very emotionally invested in its characters and gets you following this girl as she is adapting to her life and dealing with grief. Again, the film does that in a very mature and sensitive way, whilst also being a lot of fun and getting the timing of the metal songs, right? The famous metal songs that are in the soundtrack of this film are timed to perfection. And it's a film which is really great. Another one I highly recommend to you, particularly if you are yourselves metalheads. And I'm pretty sure probably 75-80% of my subscribership are indeed metalheads. So do check that one out. Now, next up is certainly a film, and not my usual kind of film, but that's why I love talking about different films sometimes on the channel. This is a film called Only You. Stars Josh O'Connor and Leah Costa. Was directed by Harry Woodliffe. Came out back in 2018. You can stream this one on Amazon Prime, I believe. In fact, I think you can also stream Aftersun on Amazon Prime as well. And Metalhead is on Vimeo. I'll maybe just drop all that in the description box as links after the video goes up. So I really enjoyed Only You. This is about 2 people that meet on New Year's Eve. They're both fighting over trying to get a taxi, right? We've all been there, right? We've all tried to get taxis late on a night out even, and ended up perhaps in a little bit of a disagreement about who should get the taxi first. So that's kind of where this film starts. But this film is a fantastic relationship kind of film. All right, it's not one of those glossy, perfect, cheesy romance films that you get from the Hollywood machine or anything like that. This is a really mature film that deals with the gritty reality of relationships and the circumstances some couples face. So this is, Josh O'Connor is playing a guy who's only 26 and Leah Costa's playing a girl who's 35. And they're both facing a situation where they realise they may not be able to conceive children together and have to face that harsh reality. And the film deals with this superbly well. It has to get it right with a subject like this that's as serious and sensitive as this, and it just does it brilliantly. The performances of Leah Costa and Josh O'Connor are, for me, award worthy. I don't know if they won any awards or not from this, but they are award worthy for me, and go check out Only You. Number 4 is, we're actually going now to a road more travelled on the Green Man. It's a horror movie called I Remember You. I do believe I might have spoken about this film in a list before on the channel, like my top 10 horror films maybe of the 2010s. It's a really good Icelandic horror film, directed by, this one directed by Oscar Tor Axelsson. And it sort of follows, it's like got twin storylines that eventually meet together. It's one of those kind of films, right? But it's done really well in the Scandi noir style. This guy is investigating the disappearance of his son in one sort of storyline, and in another storyline, these three people, these young people, are settling into, or we're trying to restore a home, and we're following their story together and their sort of interesting relationships alongside the investigation of this disappearance of this little boy as well. The two meet in the middle very well, I think. I think the film's, just the cinematography of this film is worth watching alone. I Remember You is a great advert for Iceland. In fact, it's the second Icelandic film I've talked about in this list of 5. So clearly, I quite enjoy Icelandic independent films, but this one particularly is worth your time for a few different reasons, I would say. It's pretty good acting, a good enough story, but excellent cinematography for this particular film. My final choice, the 5th choice on this list, is a film that I saw again, I think, at the BFI Festival. It's a French movie. It's a French comedy romance. It's a bit of a rom-com, but it's not a classic kind of rom-com. This is following an old guy who is trying to relive the magic of his romance in his earlier, younger life. So it's kind of got that kind of an angle to it. It's directed by a guy called Nicolas Bedos. I don't know him personally or anything, but it's a really good film. It's charming, and I think the comedy is done very well. It's quite light touch at times, and it's a really good film. Sadly, I've only seen this one the once, so the details in my memory of this film are a little bit, grey and loose. I can't remember it all that well. But I do remember that I thoroughly enjoyed it when I saw it at the cinema. Again, really good performances. Just to briefly cover what this is about, though, for those of you that are wondering what is Bellopod actually about. So this is a guy that is, as I say, he's an older guy, and he meets somebody. This guy called Victor meets this guy called Antoine, who is the owner of a company that has invented a way of people being able to relive their sort of maybe memories from their past life, but not actually by time traveling, not literally time traveling, but by staging with actors and a full show that part of their lives. It's a really unusual concept, but it works extremely well at comically reenacting this guy's kind of earlier romance with his wife and stuff. I believe when he first met her and stuff. But again, any details I get slightly wrong here, I apologise. I've only seen this film the once, but all I remember is it's very funny. It's very good, great French comedy drama, romance to go and watch. That's it. That's my list of 5 this time round. Hope you really enjoyed this list. Do go and check these out. And if you haven't seen the other 5 films from my other list as well, that's also 5 really good films there too. As I say, I love independent films, generally genre. When I'm watching independent films, for me, it's about the art. It's about the artistic direction, following a vision, and immersing yourself in the films and the characters and relating to them, which I get much more generally from independent. Not all the time. I do enjoy some mainstream films. I'm not saying I hate, dislike all mainstream films, but independent films offer you that bit extra for me, and they get you closer to characters because they're all, and more involved with the vision of the directors, because they obviously care about the films, and it's less about sort of marketing them to the masses and more about drawing out what is kind of unique about them, or getting something different through to the viewers. So thanks again for watching as always. Until next time, everybody, hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, and until next time.